Hey GCN youth, it's time for We're really glad you joined us for this episode. We are going to start off with very special musical guests. Now keep in mind, with all that's going on, we had a lot of people, a lot of musical guests that had to back out, but we were fortunate to land these guys. So without any further ado, this band right here, I don't know if they have a name. Here they go. All right, boys, hit it. It's been a long quarantine. All right, let's get to that episode or that interview with Casey. Here she is, Casey. All right, hey Casey, welcome.
Hey.
Thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. So the drill is we ask some somewhat random questions and then you respond to those questions. Thanks for playing along. First question isn't super random, but what's been taking up your time most days as we've been in this season?
So most days I've been working from home. I'm able to do my job at my house. So I've been in my basement, spending time with my dog, doing my work. That's like from 8:30 to 5 every day. And then after that, I usually just take my dog out for a long walk and, hang out with my parents. They're here too. So it's been pretty fun.
Cool. That's good feedback.
When you're stuck inside, but hasn't been too bad.
Second question. Given the choice between these two superpowers, invisibility or flying, which would you choose and why?
Oh, I think I would choose flying because I love to travel and I would fly anywhere I could at any time. I think that'd be really awesome. So definitely flying.
I heard that the choice that a person makes about those two is supposed to mean something about them, but I can't remember what that means right now. So for now, just I think they're both positive things, by the way. Third question. If you were to compare yourself to any animal, which animal would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like dog is like a cliche answer, like, oh, I'm a dog. I think I would say bunny, like a bunny rabbit. And I'd say that because on most of the walks I take with my dog, we see bunny rabbits and they're like kind of like secretive, but as soon as they see my dog, they sprint away. So I think I kind of like at times can be not secretive, that's not the word, but like kind of like quiet and like low key, but then I just get a lot of energy and I'm just like, woo. So I think bunny rabbit. So that's my animal.
That's a good animal. That's my couple of my kids' favorite animal. So
yeah. Smart kids.
Fourth question. What is your favorite Bible story?
Favorite Bible story is David and Goliath. I remember that when I was a kid. GCN, Sunday school as a kid, learned about that story and I just loved it and I still love it now as a 30-year-old adult. So it's timeless.
Yes, it's classic. Good. Number 5, what do you miss most? Let's try not to tear up here, but what do you miss most about in-person Sunday night youth group?
Oh, I won't cry, but I miss eating together. I really liked eating, we eat together because we love each other. So I loved when we ate our meals and just sat around and like goofed off for a bit before like went to game or something. I really do miss that because now I'm just eating with myself and my family and it's not quite the same.
Those days, this too shall pass. Like we'll get back to those times soon, but I'm with you. I think my answer would be the same for what it's worth. I love the meals and the hangout times. Sixth question. Can you please sing a solo for us?
Sure. I need you to give me a word, and I'll write a
Oh,
song.
just a word?
Or two words.
Wait, a word or like a phrase, or it doesn't
A
matter?
word or a phrase. Yeah, anything. I'll make up a song.
Okay, here it is. I love you, GCN Youth Group.
Okay, here we go. I love you, GCN Youth Group. I can't wait to be back. One of these days, everything will be right back on track. I love GCN Youth Group. Yeah.
Hey, good job.
Here we
I
go.
thought you might go to that upper octave, that
Oh,
Mariah range.
yeah, my vocal cords are still kind of ruined, so.
No, don't worry, don't apologize. All right, good job. Thank you, Casey. Final question. What words of encouragement or anything would you like to share with everyone listening?
So I'm going to share a Bible verse. It's one that I wrote a paper on it in college, and it just kind of helps me get through like hard times, challenging times, being in quarantine and not really going out and hanging out with friends and stuff. It's tough, but this verse reminds me that it'll be okay. It's Habakkuk chapter 3, verses 17 and 18. Let me pull it up. I'll go ahead and read it. So it says, though the fig tree does not bud and there are no grapes on the vines, though the olive crop fails and the fields produce no fruit, though there are no sheep in the pen and no cattle in the stalls. Next verse. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God, my Savior. So I think that's just reminding us that things might be like horrible and, we don't see like what's in sight for the future. But that verse reminds me that, God is always with us and he'll never forget about us or lead us astray. Like he knows what's going on and he knows he's right there with us and everything we're going through.
Good. Thank you, Casey. I think one of the encouraging things right now is to hear other people practice trusting Jesus. Like, I think it's easy to be like, oh man, I do trust, but I hope, it's like so encouraging to hear that everybody else, like that there's others that we know and love that are like, you know what? God has been faithful before and I'll keep doing it. So that's a good reminder. Thank you, Casey.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you hanging out with us for a bit, and I can't wait. I'm with you. I can't wait till we all get back together soon. Hey, Dad. Oh man, we got a guest appearance on the show.
We got a guest. This is Joe.
Hey, Joe. Good. You just made an appearance on the GCN Youth Group show.
Thank you.
Oh, this is great. I love cameos. All right. Hey, we'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
So here's the final thought. I was reading through the Easter story this past week, and a verse jumped out to me that I don't think I've ever really noticed before. It probably jumped out to me because we're living in really weird times right now. But I'll set it up. Jesus, up until this verse, Jesus has just been resurrected from the dead. And that's not normally a part of the story that I would just rush past. I mean, Jesus has just changed the world. Jesus's life, death, and resurrection have changed everything. Now he's alive again. That just happened. And then here's where the story picks up. Mary Magdalene, this is in John chapter 20. Mary Magdalene and Peter and the other disciple, it says, they're heading to the tomb just on that Sunday morning. They're thinking they're just going to go like pay some respect to Jesus that has been dead and buried. And they get there and the tomb is empty and they don't get it yet. They don't quite understand. And here's the verse that jumped out to me for the first time ever. It's a simple verse. It's just in John chapter 20, verse 10. It says that after they saw the empty tomb, Peter and John, it says, they just went back to their homes. That's the verse right there. They went back to their homes. Now, this is why I thought it was crazy, because the first response from Peter and the other disciple after seeing the empty tomb was to just go home, to basically do nothing. But it doesn't end there, because later that day, on Easter evening, those disciples were still in their homes. And it says that they were scared for their lives, like they had locked their doors. That's how scared they were. But then Jesus still, the one who overcame sin and death, the one who had just been resurrected, Jesus still shows up in their homes, and he somehow gets through the locked doors, and he shows up, and the first words out of Jesus' mouth are, peace, be still. It's going to be okay. I'm right here. He shows up in this moment of intimacy. So here we are. Most of us are shut up in our homes. And some of you might be scared. Maybe you're anxious about stuff. Maybe you're struggling in your walk with Christ. Maybe you're really having trouble in just trusting Jesus, that everything is going to actually be okay. Maybe you feel distant from God right now. Your kind of rhythm of life has been shaken. Maybe you felt distant way before all this began. But here we are, friends, in our homes. And just like Jesus showed up into the homes of a bunch of scared disciples a couple thousand years ago, Jesus is still showing up into your home and into my home today. And in the middle of the crazy mess, Jesus always shows up, and he always figures out a way to get in. We just have to receive him and notice him. And the first words out of his mouth are always, I believe still, peace. It's all going to be okay. All shall be well. I'm right here. That's what he says. So, as you go about your day to day, may you receive Jesus. Spend time with him. My suggestion, check out John chapter 20 and 21. Maybe check it out today. Read his words. Let it form you and shape you. You will begin to see that the cross and resurrection of Jesus, it's actually this big mission to enter into. Like, he wants us to practice resurrection and to go and share his good news, his love with other people. That's our purpose in life. So, Jesus is with you. Jesus is for you. He is alive, and we have hope. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you again sometime soon. Peace be with you too.